my big dog. I'm gonna get my big dog.
You think it's a game? You think it's a Come on!
This ain't no game. This is a warning. Y'all routed up the wrong pack of dogs. Hey, put on that. How you gonna stop him? What? You gonna stack the box? You gonna play man cover? Stop playing.
That's a big time play.
These dogs are fast. These dogs are hungry. And these dogs, they are coming for you.
Run through him. He's scared.
Dogs, let's hunt.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Man, this feels like one of those, I don't know, just kind of a, it's tough. It's a heartbreaker. I mean, I think most people know, but Nakobe Dean, prayers for him. Officially, well, I shouldn't say officially. I'll drop the news from Mike Garafolo, Ian Rapoport, but I'm trying to grasp the win was great. You know, I'm seeing some of the comments as well. Moving to the second round. They've got other guys to move up, but did want to hop on here with the news being dropped from Mike Garafolo and Ian Rapoport. Of course, obviously, the first bit that I think most people probably saw, there's Nakobe Dean after the game, walking out in crutches, had the brace on the knee. He did kind of word to the trainers as he was walking off the injury, saying, "I'm done." That was not a great sign from that either. But then after that, like I say earlier, about 20, 30 minutes ago, as of 9:15 Eastern time, Ian Rapoport says Nakobe Dean, who was carted off during last night's win, is feared to have suffered a significant knee injury that would knock him out of the playoffs. Sources tell him and Mike Garafolo, which Mike Garafolo then reposted and quoted and said definitely a bad break for the Eagles. So, you know, he's going to get the official say there, get the MRI this morning to deliver the full news, the full extent of the injury. Did not look good regardless. This is, I mean, I try to be optimistic, and I still am about this team, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. This is a very significant loss. This is a crucial loss for the defense. I think all of us recognize that, but what Nakobe Dean means to this defense, not only just play-wise, but also the green dot wear, what he brings to this defense. The fact that you play Zach Bond in tandem with Nakobe Dean, and Zach Bond's been phenomenal. He will be phenomenal, but it still changes the aspect of how those guys go. So, man, I hate to see it. The Goose, I'm not going to speculate or anything. I hope that that's not the case, and I call it now. He will never be the same. You guys can come back from injuries. You know, I think that it's ACL is the expected part of the knee injury for him, but we'll see, the official extent and what that ends up being. I will say that when you look at this too, the Packers game, it was that they didn't allow any points until Nakobe went out, right? It was 0 points allowed. Nakobe goes out. They allowed 10 points. The Texas routes, the angle routes, basically anything with Josh Jacobs afterwards, you saw the Packers, they're like, hey, Oren Burks is on the field. We had talked about him whenever Oren Burks had been signed, and he played against that same Packers team. So they're very familiar with him. If you're not quite understanding or where I'm going with that, but Oren Burks played for the Niners and played against the Packers and was kind of forced into action there. So he's given up some plays. We saw it, obviously, in the passing game. That's been a significant weakness, but also in the running. I mean, he had missed tackles. He had a ton of those. Give Burks some credit. I will say that for the, first hit of the game, setting the tone, the forced fumble. Sure, it contributes a huge way to the win. But, yeah, you start looking at this, you're kind of like, man, that run defense, you started giving up a lot more in the game once Nakobe Dean went out. I don't think that you give up those types of runs with Nakobe in. So, yeah, it's tough. It's brutal. I will say, again, I still believe in this team, that they're going to be able to rebound. They're going to be able to move forward past this. It's just one of those impacts of not having a guy like Nakobe Dean out there continually. And as I say, I don't know what the bigger instance is, because with him being the green dot wearer and Zach Bond will now take that over. They've had instances in the past where, Bond's had to wear that. So I think from that standpoint, Zach Bond will be okay. The defense can get the calls, the checks. If you have to have any other guys going in there. That part is fine. But to me, it's just what does he do on the field? What does he contribute? The actual plays that he's making. So, and Jay, that's a good point. A full week of practice will help whoever replaces Dean. We can be a little bit giving some grace towards Oren Burks because it's more difficult for sure. You'd be thrust into action in a game. You're not expecting to play a whole lot of reps, and all of a sudden, there you go. You got to take on Josh Jacobs, the Green Bay Packers, who are going to scheme a lot of reps to Josh Jacobs regardless, but then especially when they see that he's out. So, I think so. I think that there's an instance of, what exactly will we see? Who is it with Zach Bond in there? The other part that I've seen a couple get thrown out as well as just a potential of who you might go with. There are some free agents. Shout out to, I think I've got it here. Let me see if I can find the official tweet. But shout out to Anthony DeBona, the man himself, of sharing some potentials that there are out there. And here we go. I'm trying to get the graphic also. You don't have to necessarily, if you say, hey, let's go with whoever's on the roster. I'll share my thoughts on this in a second. But yes, for those joining, Nakobe Dean, feared to be done, according to Mike Garafolo. I can put the tweet up there also again. But Ian Rapoport sounds like probably an ACL. Will get the full extent of the knee injury a little bit later this morning. But out for the playoffs. Huge loss, obviously. But like Anthony said here, assuming the Eagles, and this was earlier, this was late last night, but assuming the Eagles have lost Nakobe for the remainder of the season, there's an intriguing player to watch for, Quan Alexander, veteran linebacker that is currently on the Lions practice squad. If the Eagles want to add a veteran, they could sign Alexander away from Detroit. I don't mind it necessarily in terms of just stealing a player from Detroit, just that alone, but then also, the veteran presence there. The concern for me is, and Andrew, you're right, definitely going to be missing the chemistry that he has playing with JC and JD, the front, having that recognition. But I'll say this, the part to me about signing anyone, whether it's Quan Alexander or name your free agent out there, is do we really expect in a Vic Fangio defense that someone is going to come in here and replace Nakobe Dean, get in there. He won't have to wear the green dot. It'll be Zach Bond, and you move on from that. But still, get into a linebacker position and contribute in half a week. Even if you wait and say, well, let's not play too many reps for the divisional round, and if and when we win, then you play in the championship game. I don't know. I really I feel like that's more of a concern than it is to say, you know what, let's give Burks a full week of prep, a full week to get behind it. I think that he will be the guy. But then again, you can also go with Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and I see a lot of people making those comments. I saw it last night. I've seen tons on social media at this point as well. Sidney Dean say Trotter can ball man, let him play. Heck yeah. I mean, he's shown some moments. He's missed a few tackles. He played in the Cowboys game, but he also made a decent amount. Again, you still also remember, go back, Oren Burks had 17 tackles. I think Jeremiah Trotter Jr. had 12 or 13, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, it's not all about tackles and just that. But yeah, I think just the chemistry, the cohesiveness of the unit, leading the squad, how they play together, it's a loss. It's a loss. Is it one that they, can't overcome? No, absolutely not. They can definitely overcome this one. I think that they'll be okay. It hurts. You got to pick up the slack, as you see in the hype videos, the open, everything else. Let's hunt. Let's pick this up. That's what they're going to do. I'm believing. I will say that there's still reason to be optimistic. It's just, it sucks. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Injuries happen. For this point, it feels very similar for me. You guys let me know your thoughts on this, but it's kind of in a way the Rams game. But in like a more magnified or amplified way, because this is a playoff game, right? Like it's a big win, but then you're like, golly, really, Nakobe? I mean, you saw him make that tackle, you saw him make that hit, stop the screen pass, and then he struggled to get up. He gets helped off the field and kind of mouths to the trainers, "I'm done," and you just knew at that point that not going to be a good sign. But yeah, I mean that's where it is. But it feels like, as I said, the Rams game, because BG was saying the same thing afterward, and a big win in LA, blowout, Saquon, all that other stuff, and then BG with the injury. So that's where it feels. Again, just for those that are joining, feel free to watch it back for the full analysis and recap. But Ian Rapoport sharing the news. Nakobe Dean, who was carted off last night in the playoff win, feared to have suffered a significant knee injury that would knock him out for the playoffs. Sources tell Mike Garafolo, and he's going to have a full MRI to give the full extent of the knee injury or injuries. Really sad news. And then, like I said, Mike Garafolo quote tweeted afterwards and officially confirming. So, again, a bad break for the Eagles and Nakobe Dean. We're all right. We're going to be okay. Like I said, just wanted to hop on here, update officially with the news. Washington beat the Commanders. I will say, I said this on the stream last night that I was doing there, I think that's the better case, because you're going to either play now the Rams or the Vikings. Personally, I would love to play the Rams just because I don't think and see how they could stop this running a game at all. But the Vikings, I mean, either way, I don't care. I really believe in this team. Even with the Nakobe Dean injury, you got the squad playing well. Heck, I mean, Nolan Smith was insane. I mean, he's phenomenal in the game. So I'll have more breakdown, game recap video, hopefully getting that up later this evening. But as I said, I just wanted to hop on here, give the news. Make sure to drop a like if you haven't already. Appreciate you guys. For those joining, and like I say, late on the action, you can rewatch the analysis here. Make sure to sub. Got a crazy giveaway also approaching 100,000 subs as well. So there you go. Eagles victory Monday, playoff win. It's good there, but gosh, it's a little bit tough with the Nakobe dues. So as I say, appreciate you guys as always. Go Birds.